the biggest piece of advice or like tactical thing that I would do is be confident that you really can't make a wrong decision and just trust that God's got you no matter what and he's going to redirect you. In Isaiah 30:21, I wrote this down. It says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. There's some things in life that really only you can do and really only you know is right. Honestly, mic drop there. That was like, I needed to hear that for myself. Welcome to the Talk More with Lore podcast. I'm so glad that you guys are here. We took last week off. I've been trying to play catch up since going to Hawaii, so apologies for keeping this a little bit inconsistent, but I'm really excited about today's episode. If you're new here, this is a podcast where we really talk about all things health and wellness, and I personally really have been enjoying more of the like self-help type topics. So today we're going to kind of dive into something that like I'm going through personally too right now. So I felt like it'd be a really good way to tie in kind of what I'm going through. And then I'm sure someone out there listening is going to feel heard in this because I think everybody goes through what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into it, silly goofy thing of the week. It's been like so crazy. I feel like so much has happened just between like the travels of the process of getting to Hawaii and coming back. It was like a 13-hour travel day both ways. And anyways, but the one thing that I'm thinking about right now was actually happened this week. I've been really trying to focus on my hair health recently because my hair, well, for one, when I come back from the beach, it's really dry because the salt water extracts like all the moisture from your hair. So I feel like my hair is just struggling right now. And in general, for the past few months, it's just been not, it just hasn't been popping off recently. And so I'm trying like a bunch of new products to strengthen it and like get it back to where it was. And so classic me, I'd say I can definitely be a procrastinator. I've had to like bully myself out of procrastination because like I have a tendency to like put things off, but like now that I'm my own boss, I'm like, no, you have to get this done. Like, stop. But the thing about me is I'll like wait to the last second to do something. So for example, 2 days ago, I had to bring Winston to the vet. And Winston, if you guys don't know, if you're new here, he's my golden retriever and he's a puppy still. But so when I have like something that I know I need to get to at a certain time, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll like procrastinate until the very last second to do that very thing. And then I'll be like 5 to 10 minutes late to that appointment every single time. So that's what I was doing, which is, I'm not saying that's good, it's bad. So I did that. And I tried this new product on my hair. It was the Olaplex like oil stuff. So I put it, like washed my hair. I put the oil everywhere. Big mistake. I put it like in my roots, like on the ends, whatever. Blow dry my hair. It literally looked like I had just swim in olive oil. Like it did, no matter how much I dried my hair, it was like super greasy and disgusting. I was like, are you kidding me? And I had to leave for the vet like in 20 minutes. And I was like, this is disgusting. I was like so mad. So I washed my hair again and did it the whole thing again and ended up being fine. But and then meanwhile, Winston's like being a menace. He's like doing the zoomies and eating everything in the living room. So anyways, I feel like I'm getting a taste of just like pure chaos of having kids one day, God willing. But yeah, so that's just something that I honestly want to work on is like not waiting to the last minute to do things and being on time because I'm always like, I'm consistent with the 5 to 10 minutes. I'm always like 5 to 10 minutes late, which is not good, by the way. Like I need to be on time, but anyways, so that's my rant of the day. But I'm sure we will have a quick catch up at some point soon. But yeah, Hawaii was amazing. And I like coming back to Nashville after being on a trip like that is like it's it really opens your eyes because Hawaii is just such a different pace of life. It's a lot slower over there. It's beautiful. Everyone is just in their bathing suits and walk like literally you go to the supermarket or not Kroger, but they call it like Foodland over there, and everyone's just barefoot. No one wears shoes. It's just crazy. But it's so cool. I just love how different it is. Like no one wears makeup there. No one does their hair. It's so hot. There's no AC anywhere. It's definitely like an island life, but it was so fun. But yeah, let's get into the meat of the episode. Today's episode is called How to Stay Grounded When Life Feels Uncertain. And I'm going to tie in kind of like how to listen to your gut and all these things that I have really struggled with in the past. And honestly, to this day, I'm still kind of like learning what that means. But I really just want to talk about, what it means to trust your gut, how to stay grounded, what it means to not spiral into anxiety and uncertainty, because I think many times all of us have dealt with anxiety and probably have had those ruminating thoughts, overthinking, thinking about the worst case scenario, the what ifs, and it can be really overwhelming. So I first want to preface that being anxious and feeling uncertain and feeling like you don't have a direction, those are all very normal feelings. And they shouldn't be like, we should recognize those feelings and recognize that you feel overwhelmed or anxious or uncertain. Like, what do I do? Maybe you feel like you have a big decision coming up and you're not sure how to take the next step, or maybe you are just really uncertain about what's next with your job, or you're anxious about something with a relationship going on. It's, those are all really normal feelings. And I think we should, first of all, say, hey, that's okay that you feel that way. It just means that you're human. And it means that God wired us to feel those feelings. I believe that God sometimes presses us and puts those uncertain feelings in our hearts because he really just wants us to come to him and talk to him about our uncertainties and our worries. And so just normalize it. And one thing that I've kind of done personally, and this kind of helps me, is remind myself, if I'm feeling those really uncomfortable, overwhelmed feelings, first of all, I will kind of take a step back, like pause whatever I'm doing. And maybe I'll have to finish whatever task I'm doing in the moment and then just be like, okay, after this, I need to just like pause for a second and kind of just ask questions to yourself of like why you feel that way, and understand that it won't last forever. I always have to tell myself that these feelings are not going to be forever, because if you look back on your life of like something you were worried about 8 weeks ago, chances are you're probably not worried about it anymore. Like those feelings just come and go so quickly. So it's so important to not let your feelings take the driver's seat. And they're important and they're so good to notice them and be like, okay, like maybe this is something that, it's on my heart for a reason. Like, but don't let it go too far. And I think in that point where you notice it and then it turns into that spiral effect is when you are like, okay, well, I got to get this figured out and I got to like make a decision. And okay, well, what happens when I do that and that and that and that? And then like 2 years down the road and then that and that, like it can be so easy to go into that snowball. But really stopping yourself and being like, whoa, I cannot let myself go to that far, because your job isn't to figure everything out all at once. Really, your job is to just take that next right step. So I'm going to kind of talk about that today. So first of all, I'll kind of start with like some research and some things that I found interesting about this very topic. And then we'll get into personal example and then just some tips. So, the whole idea of, feeling anxious, making the wrong decision it stems from how we're wired, actually, because anytime that you feel that, your brain, it says your brains are wired to respond to stress through a fight or flight response. So when you feel anxious, it's often our body's way of reacting to protect threats, real or imagined. So literally, like when you think about something that could happen, your body's like, threat, threat, threat. Like that's how it literally reacts as if it's already happened, which I thought was interesting. And it says, according to a study published, anxiety triggers the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, which activates the body's stress response, preparing you to face danger. In modern life, this can be triggered by non-life threatening stress like work deadlines, relationship worries. And this explains why overthinking feels so overwhelming. And it's your brain's response to feeling threatened. So like, I think that just kind of goes back to the whole normalizing the feeling. Like our bodies are literally wired to have a response to an anxious thought or ruminating thought. So it makes sense why that happens, but you don't have to let it completely consume you, because that's like going to not go anywhere for you. And those gut feelings that you have. So let's talk about your gut for a second. Your gut and your brain are actually connected. Like some people say that your gut is actually like your second brain. And your gut feeling is, I believe, spiritual, because it's like, to me, I feel like it's a way that the Holy Spirit kind of speaks to you. Because anytime you have maybe a gut feeling or a gut response or something like, hey, this isn't right, or this relationship isn't right for me, or I don't know why, but I know I shouldn't be doing XYZ things. And on paper, it's like logically, it makes sense for me to do that thing, but in my gut, it's telling me not to do that thing. Like that is so real. And I believe that we all individually have to learn to trust that. And I think it takes practice. And so here it says gut feelings or intuition are linked to your nervous system. Your gut is your second brain, and the system has more nerve cells than your spinal cord. Research shows that gut feelings are tied to patterns your brain has learned over time. The gut talks to the brain using nerves to process emotions that we don't consciously recognize. When you feel something deep down in your gut, your brain is picking up clues from your past experiences, which can explain why some decisions feel right and wrong without being able to fully explain why. So I'll kind of give a personal example really quickly. In my past, I've really struggled with decisions just in general. I'm the youngest of the family, and I'm the youngest by a lot. And so I feel like growing up for me I was always told what to do and told what to believe. I grew up in a very Christian household to where it was almost a little bit legalistic in the rules that we followed. And so my faith has really grown and like broken off away from that as an adult. But when I was younger, I really struggled with decisions, and I always I don't know. I always second guessed myself. I didn't really know if what I was doing was right, because I always wanted to look to other people to see if I was doing the right thing, or in the eyes of my family or eyes of my friends or anything else. And so I would constantly just second guess myself and would stress that I would make the wrong decision. And I think everybody probably feels this at some capacity. I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I believe that probably everyone feels that. But for me, it felt like overwhelming. It felt like just the world was ending. Anytime I had to do something or make a decision, because I'm extremely indecisive. I just always have been. And so I believe that God had put these really big roadblocks in my life and forced me to be like, no, you have to do this on your own, and you have to make this decision. And I'm going to give you, like, you're going to feel really anxious until you act on that. And because I'm giving you this gut feeling deep down that this isn't right. And I'm going to keep pressing you on that until you trust yourself to make that decision. And that's exactly what happened. And I feel like that's where like my trust in God really grew and my faith grew. Going back to my experience with my ex-boyfriend, just that whole debacle, like it felt like for a few months it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like could not really understand why I was feeling anxious and fearful about the relationship. Because on paper, logically, it was perfect and made sense. But like it was that gut kind of feeling of like, this isn't right for me, but I don't know why. And I'm upset that it's not working because I don't want to step into singleness and like I don't want to start over. That is like terrifying for me. And when I made that decision to break away and like just trust the gut and like truly was just honestly angry at God because I was like, why is this happening? Like, I'm so upset. I feel like I just wasted 3 years of my life in this relationship. And on paper, it's perfect. Like, I don't understand. And I think that's like a really good example of how God uses feelings sometimes to like pull you out of something because I knew it wasn't right because I was constantly anxious and I was constantly just like had that gut feeling. And it wasn't until I acted on it that it went away. And so I think like that really taught me to trust my gut. So that's kind of a little example of in my life, like how that has worked because at the end of the day, God speaks in peace and he's not going to give you like super anxious feelings and thoughts about something that like is right for you. Like if it's right for you, you're going to have immense peace about it. So let's kind of get into practical things here. So maybe you are going through a breakup, or maybe you're going through singleness, or maybe you're going through a job change, or maybe you're moving cities and you're fearful of making friends. This could apply really anywhere. So I think the biggest piece of advice or like tactical thing that I would do is think about your next right step. So if you feel extremely anxious or overwhelmed, it's really important to step away, pause, think about why you are feeling this way. So the first thing you can do is journal or think about your feelings and really write them out in detail. The next thing you can do is, if you believe in God or whatever your higher power is, like just pray about it. And until you feel peace about your next right step is when you can act on it. So for me, like a lot of times what I'll do is I will like really ask God specifically, like, please give me wisdom and discernment about this specific thing. And I don't need all the answers from you, God. I just want some sort of peace or glimmer of light that I'm, doing the right thing by making this next step. And that could be like something with Tyler, or it could be, there's honestly a lot of things right now in my personal life that I'm not able to share yet that I'm having to pray about, and I'm sure I will share it soon. But that's kind of a season I'm in right now. Like this very topic is just like surrendering a lot of this because I don't feel like I have very many answers right now. I feel very uncertain about my job and my relationship and just like everything going on. And I know I'm being vague, but I think like we're not supposed to have it all mapped out. And so just kind of taking that time to just ask God specifically those questions and ask for wisdom and discernment. And then Isaiah 30:21, I wrote this down. It says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. I thought that was so powerful because I think even oftentimes and I'm speaking for myself, maybe someone can resonate. I stress about making the wrong decision. I stress about being like, okay, well, if this isn't right, then I'm just going to completely mess up God's will and my plan for my life. And everything's just going to go to crap. And that is not true because even if you do step the wrong way, it's never too far for you to get back on track. Like, I think I think oftentimes God just like looks at your heart and he's like, okay, she's like really trying and she's like wants to, you know, gain clarity on this. Like even if he's not giving you a clear answer, it's okay to just step out in faith and do something, even if you don't really know what you're doing, and then just trust that like he will bring you back and redirect if you need to. And that's something that I've kind of had to learn, like in my indecisiveness, is just understanding that you really can't make a wrong decision. You really can't. It's just trust that you will find your way along the way, I guess, because those doors will open and doors will close, and you'll just understand which door to walk in and which door to walk out of in time. But you're not going to get anywhere unless you take that next step, if that makes sense. So just be confident that you really can't make a wrong decision, and just trust that God's got you no matter what, and he's going to redirect you. Honestly, mic drop there. That was like, I needed to hear that for myself. Yeah, so just journaling, asking God specific questions and get discernment, just have faith and be bold in in what you're doing and your next step. Getting out in nature, resetting your nervous system, like taking a second to like reconnect with yourself. And I think in time you will gain clarity, and that's another part of trusting God in the journey of life, is understanding that you're not going to have all the answers right away, but you have to trust that he'll show you in the right time, because sometimes there's these like profound moments that you have in life where like I keep thinking back to kind of like my single days where I was like so down bad, and I've had a lot of like spiritual moments during those years where it was just so clear that I was like on the right path, even though it was so painful and like hard. I knew that God was like doing something. So just ask God for those nuggets of like encouragement and signs, and he'll show you, because yeah, it's all you can really do in a season of like uncertainty and waiting, and just know that it won't last forever. And it's okay to not know yet. It's okay to walk in life and not really know what you're doing and not really know what's next. And don't rush it, because you will get to the other side in time. But that's pretty much all I've got. I'll kind of wrap it up and say, this is like something that I feel like every person has to do internally. Like it's not like no one can make you trust your gut, if that makes sense. I feel like many times, I think it's wise to get counsel from people, but there's some things in life that really only you can do, and really only you know is right, if that makes sense. And no one can tell you that, because you're the one who knows deep down, oh, this isn't right for me. And no matter how much counsel I seek or how many prayers I pray, like I might not get a really direct, clear answer. I really just have to, it just forces you to look inwardly and just be like, okay, how does this make my body feel? Like you will get a reaction if it's not right for you. So just learn to trust it and trust your gut. Yeah, that's about all I got for you guys. I hope this is encouraging. Maybe next week we'll take a turn and do some other fitness tips. But I will ask what you guys think, because I want to give you what you want. But I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.